We do have the email somewhere, yeah. But one of the things that I always said to people is that one of the reasons we can move fast is because in the Orthodox community, you tend to date for marriage. You're dating for values. You're not dating because you want to have fun, or like all that's part of it. But the real thing that you're dating for is this somebody you're going to want to build a life with? And that means dating around certain values. So our first date was talking about like really important things, like how many kids do you want to have? What do you want our marriage to look like? What level of religiosity do you want to have in terms of the home? Do you want to send your kids to Jewish day school, not or public school? Really drill down at the very beginning. And that meant that once we had the same values, there are a few things, once you have them, you're pretty much good to go. Meaning, like, obviously you have to be attracted to the other person, but once you share values and you're attracted to the other person, there are a few other check marks, but that's pretty much like the big ones.
Yeah, be careful who you mix your yolk with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's very important. I think people lost sight of that. I think people want the fun and the exciting, and they will deal with what's important later. But that's actually what made our foundation really strong. Is I told her, like, hey, like, we can't have a split decision in our home how we're going to raise our children. Exactly. So why don't we just discuss that right now?
That's the number one thing. It's the number one thing.
Is there any tips that you would give a married new couple?
Oh yeah, they're a bunch. So here, get ready. I'm just going to unload on you. But here's a really good one. This one took me a while to figure out. So this is advice to you. My wife would come to me with a problem. And my first inclination as a dude is, okay, let me fix the problem. That's what we're here for, right? We open jars and we fix problems. That's our thing. And and then she'd get mad at me for fixing the problem, right? She'd propose a problem and then she'd get upset because that's not what she wanted. She didn't want me to give a solution. She wanted me to hear her. Oh. Right? So I actually, she's again, a very giving person. So I said to her, yeah, sweetheart, I need you to tell me at the outset of the conversation, is this a solving problems conversation or is this an empathy conversation? And she would actually be honest. She'd be like, no, I just want you to hear me right now. Okay, great. Now I can be in that mode.
Great communication skills, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing that again, we're very honest with one another and we're very open with one another about, things that are going well, things that aren't going well. And so we can fix that sort of stuff. If you can do that, you'll have an amazing and long lasting marriage.
We're very good at that.
That's great. I mean, because it's when you let things build up and build up and build up that things start to explode.
You get resentment. And I've learned just from like experiences with friends or relationships, sometimes we paint out an image that's not true. Like we build it up so much in our hearts that when we bring it up and we blow up, they're like, nah, dude, that's not even what I meant. And this whole time you could have just asked a question instead of building up and then exploding.
You definitely also get invested in your picture of who you are. So for me, my big problem in life is that I tend to be a person who takes on things. Like I just take on at work, I'll just take on more. At home, I'll take on more. And so my innate inclination is that if there's a problem at home, instead of asking my wife which one of us should handle it or negotiating that in front, I'll just say, fine, I'll do it. And then you start to get resentful because like, okay, I'm doing this much stuff and I'm really busy and I'm getting angry. It's like, that's not her fault. That's my fault for not having communicated with her in the first place what I need and what would be good for both of us to cooperate in and divvying up the tasks. Whereas my kind of own self-perception is very much into like, okay, well, there's a problem, mine, I got it. And again, honesty is a better policy than that, as it turns out.
Hey there, you're probably wondering, yo, George, where can I get that sweet shirt? Easy, go to theheartofdavid.com and let's make America fear God again.
That's great that you're able to reflect on yourself and, know that about yourself and be honest about it, and so you can get to the problem. And how do you feel like you got to that conclusion? Like, what was it? How did you? I
mean, there'd be times where, like, for 5 months, everything would be fine, and I'd kind of gradually just I find myself getting more and more irritable, just really, really irritable. And then eventually I just kind of go off and I'd be like, why are you going off? Like, because there's no indicator, right? You can't really see a building. It just kind of goes off. And I'd be like, well, there's just too much on me. And she's like, well, if there's too much on you, why don't you just tell me that? And we'll fix the problem instead of you just building that up in your mind and not wanting to offend me, not wanting to, because I'll take it on in the belief that, she is, that I'm doing something for her, which she's like, yeah, I'm doing anything for me. Like, I'll handle more things. I'd rather that you not feel irritated and have that sort of volcanic buildup. And I think that's not an uncommon thing for guys. I think guys tend to do that. We tend to go silent. We tend to just ingest all of the stress and use it as fuel. And that's not a great solution. You have to negotiate that better.
You were mentioning that when you were growing up, you have a very boring life because you guys made great decisions. And in your home, there wasn't any obstacles you had to overcome. So where did you grow the skill sets of debating and standing up for what you believe in and literally running to the obstacles, even though you didn't have any?
Yeah, so I mean, when I say there are no obstacles, I mean no self-created obstacles is what I would say. So there are obviously obstacles that you experience in life. So when I was growing up, for example, my mom was the breadwinner. She was out making money. My dad was the one who was at home. That obviously causes certain stresses at home, not between my parents, but just because my dad wanted to make more money. And he wasn't making a lot. He was a musician, not a famous way to make a lot of money.
Not like you.
Yeah, well, that